Hey, what's up guys, and yes, it's the boy Anime King 3. You already know that today I'm going to be giving you a new series, as you can see from the title. What if Naruto was sent to a parallel multiverse? Part 1 guys. You know this what if is originally done by me, Anime King. So, enjoy guys. If this is the first time you hear my voice, I have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Making 3. Link will be down in the description for all channels. So go ahead and check them out and enjoy. And if you enjoy part 1 of this series, go ahead and tell me, and I'll be posting part 2 for you as soon as possible. I also post a brand new episode of What If Naruto's One of a Kind project over on Anime King 2, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy. And yeah, without wasting any more time, we'll just begin this new series. Start the intro. We begin this new episode at Ozu. At a first glance, it just looked like a broken, ruined village. But the real destination was underneath. That is where a man was currently walking, calm, steady footsteps, pattered against the ground. As he was wearing normal shinobi sandals, black pants, a black t-shirt. Nothing too casual. His clothing was rather formal. His hair was leaning to one side, somehow defying gravity. There was an eye patch over his left eye. This man was Kakashi Hatake, once elite Jonin of Konoha, a man that was said to possess over 1,000 jutsus. While still having his title, he didn't look the same at all. For one thing, his traditional face mask was gone, showing a normal face underneath. All these years people thought that it was a mystery, but he just worked for a casual look. There was nothing really underneath. There wasn't a scar or anything on his face. He had long since discarded the mask when it was destroyed in one of his battles so far, and he just stopped going on with the gimmick. There was hair all over his face, his beard seeming to be a bit wild, but yet at the same time it was calm. As Kakashi Hatake kept on walking, moving through the secret passageway, there were various other sectors, leading off to different places where other shinobis were. It had took them a while to find this hiding spot, because they did it in a haste. After all, when you're constantly running for your life, sometimes you can't just sit down and go through things slowly. As Kakashi finally arrived at the door, 2 men stood there. They gave him a respectful nod as he opened the door, and with that he stepped inside. Kakashi entered to see the leaders of the rebellion army, as he was one of the top leaders as well. Over to his right was Temari, sister of once Kazekage Gaara, who was now deceased. Her left arm was missing. It was cut right at her shoulder. There were 3 scratches from the forehead going down her face that had healed over time, and now they left scars. She was the first one to greet Kakashi. Beside her was former Raikage A. The man was wearing a loose shirt, well, it was more like a vest, and his chest was on full display, but there was a nasty scar of an N carved into his chest. He was missing several fingers on both hands. And beside the Raikage was Kurosaki, who took over after her grandfather was taken out of commission. Unlike the others, she hadn't sustained any scars. Beside her was Mei Terumi, the woman who was wearing a face mask, one that Kakashi used to wear. There was a reason though. If you were to remove it, all that you would see was teeth. Her face was burned off badly as she gave him a silent nod. Kakashi took his seat in front of the four major leaders, which he was one of them. A was the one to break the silence. "It's finally done," he said, as he looked towards Kakashi. "What now?" said Mei Terumi, as she looked at everyone in the room. "In order to use this, one of us will have to get close enough. That is if we don't die right away." As everyone looked at each other around the room, Kakashi spoke next. "I'll do it," he said. "You'll die," said Kurosaki. As Kakashi simply gave her a faint smile. There was no humor or joy in his eyes. He just looked tired. "If I can take them down with me, then I'll leave it all in your hands." In truth, Kakashi was tired. Yes, he was. He was tired of life in total. It has all been such a disappointment. It was about time that he go out doing something right. A, knowing that Kakashi was the best option. "He's right," he said. "He's the only one that can get him talking long enough to get the both of them in one place, to use a seal on them. This is our only chance. This is a great sacrifice that you're doing for the remaining people here, but your sacrifice will not go in vain. We will rebuild. The world will not fall, no matter what, and I will make sure of it," said E, as Kakashi gave a grateful nod for that. "What if it doesn't work?" The voice of Temari came out. They all looked towards her. "I'm just saying what everyone thinks. We tried to use a Death Reaper seal." As she looked towards Kurosaki, "Your own grandfather used against him, and he was able to escape the Reaper's grasp. Tell me, what if this failed? This is different," said Kakashi. "It has to work, because if it don't, we're all dead." All of them were quiet as they knew that that was the case. If this failed, they will all be dead. Suddenly, the door burst open, as everyone turned their face towards the person that entered, to see that it was Kiba Inuzaka, once a part of Team 8. He looked disheveled and afraid. "They found us," he said. Kakashi got out of his chair as it fell over. "Give it to me, now," he said, as he looked towards the leaders. A few minutes later, Kakashi entered on the surface. Well, no point in hiding anymore. It's best if he came out here before he nuked the entire place, and they all died inside. Despite everything, he found it rather amusing. Knowing that he was gonna die, he didn't know why. As Kakashi kept on walking, as he saw the two beings floating there in the sky, like they were angels, sent down to grace the world, yet they were the devil itself. Kakashi stopped on a nearby wall. As the two people touched down, the moment they did, explosions went off as seals all around the land exploded. That would have wiped out the entire battalion. So much explosive tag. But the explosion was contained and absorbed, as a person just kept on walking with his companion beside him. The two of them walking through the explosions, as the man to the right held out his hand, just absorbing them, as they walked through it like it was nothing. As Kakashi leaned up against the wall watching them come towards him. The moment they came to a stop, Kakashi looked towards the two people. "You found us," said Kakashi. As the man laughed. "Well, it was only a matter of time," he said, his voice deep. The person was large, considering that he seemed to be a foot or two taller than Kakashi. As he smiled. "What? You're not gonna run? Come on, it's better when I have to chase you." Kakashi laughed at that. "I know," he said. "After all, you had plenty of opportunities to kill us in the past, yet you let us go time after time again, because you enjoy the chase." "Well, you're right," the girl finally spoke. "We do enjoy hunting new people. It has become a daily, amusing activity. So, aren't you going to advise him to run again?" "I can sense them," she said as she looked down towards the ground. "They're all in there." Well, the ones that are here anyway. I assume that you spread the rest of them. Aren't the elemental nation so we wouldn't catch all of you at once? Smart. Well, the man that is leading the Konoha rebels has to be smart. The man spoke up. Yeah, I suppose you're right, darling, the girl said. Now, Kakashi. Are you ready to die? The man asks. For a long time now, said Kakashi. Whoa. Resigned to your fate, that is. I'm honestly touched. After all, you're the last thing linking me to Team 7. Yeah, I suppose you're right, said Kakashi, as he put his eyes on the man fully, standing there. Long white hair that seemed to just blow in the wind. It was rather fluent and majestic. The person was wearing anything on his feet. His foot was bare. He was wearing black pants, but no shirt. Strange tattoos were all over his body in a crisscross pattern. Very complex they were. There were 12 Megatama markings running down each of his arm. And there was also 12 Megatama markings in his back. His eyes, on the other hand, were quite unique. They were red, with 6 circles in both, as there was a shuriken in the center of his eye, and a bigger shuriken around that one. While given the modifications that he's been through, and what he has done over the past couple of years, his eyes, if they didn't look unique, something was wrong. This man was none other than Kakashi, former student, Naruto Uzumaki. Yes, a once lovable child, calm, sweet. How did he turn out this way? Beside him, the woman was gorgeous. Long, castrating, flowing red hair. Her eyes were red with slits in them. She was once upon a time the Kyuubi. Her name was Katsumi. But Naruto had changed that, well, in some ways. Her still being the Kyuubi back then, her body was made up of chakra. Well, she had a human form, a rather attractive one that was known in front of Kakashi, as she was wearing a tight black bodysuit that fit her frame quite well. If it wasn't that she was a cold, heartless bitch, well, she would be quite the eye candy. But Naruto had used his special eyes to create her a real body. So even if her chakra was disrupted by some powerful eyes, her body would not revert back to chakra. She was 100% human. Well, she still had all the powers that came with her being the Kyuubi, as it was just forced into a body, turning her human. And not to mention the body was created by him, and he wanted her to be rather powerful, so he created specially for her. It was already powerful before her chakra and her soul entered it, and it was magnified when she combined with it. These two people had been the cause of everything, as Kakashi could only think about his past mistakes. So much happened. He never noticed it, no one did. Naruto was always a laugh, easygoing boy. Sometimes Kakashi saw him just staring out of space. Sometimes he talked to himself, it was weird. But Kakashi figured that it was just his quirk. But how wrong he was. The day when Sasuke went to join Orochimaru, Naruto had went missing. And so did Sasuke. Sakura had got trained from Tsunade as she wanted to get strong enough so she could find them. Nothing for 3+ years. Until they saved Gaara. That was when they got a tip on Sasuke. At least they could get Sasuke back before they searched for Naruto. But when Orochimaru came to face them on that bridge, Naruto arrived with this new woman that he introduced her as Katsumi. Sakura was so happy, but Kakashi had seen something about Naruto's behavior. For one thing though, him and Katsumi had demolished Orochimaru. They picked him apart like he was a mere genin, using techniques that Kakashi has never seen before. And that was strange considering that he knew 1,000 techniques. When they saw him kill Orochimaru, they were happy. After all, one of Konoha menaces were gone. They had told him to return back to Konoha, but Naruto had laughed in their face. He told them that he was never with them to begin with. All of that, well, charm was just an act. Inside he was a cold, wicked, heartless bastard who wanted them all dead. He despised Konoha and he despised everyone that lived in it. From day one, he hated them. He hated their guts, they were nothing but miserable, disgusting worms to him. Since he was young, he was put through hell. But when he met Katsumi, things changed. He started to dote on her. At first, she was just using him to get free. But as time passed, she started to care for the boy. As she told him everything that happened that night, and Naruto was a rather smart child despite him playing a dumb persona. As Naruto was able to put it together that he was the son of Minato, Kakashi was shocked by that. As Naruto had realized that the hero's son was put through so much hell, it was from he was 7 years old. That is when he made his plan to get revenge on all of them. So he played the fool while he trained himself. He had asked Hiruzen for a book on Fuinjutsu. The old man was calm and nice. And he considered Naruto as a, well, grandchild. And he always gave him what he wanted, as long as it was within his power. So he did give Naruto a book, thinking that Naruto was just trying to learn upon the art of Fuinjutsu. Given that he was at Uzumaki, Hiruzen believed that Naruto would gain a talent for it in the future. But little did he know, Naruto was studying day in and day out. Katsumi had told him about the Shadow Clone Jutsu. She had saw it in the past. And just like that, she was able to show him what they did. And Naruto used the clones to utilize and gain more knowledge. And just like that, he was able to loosen the seal, even without the key. He was able to trick the seal into believing that his body was going to overdrive, that he was taking on too much of the power. That is when his father showed up. He had asked his father why, but his father couldn't give him a damn good reason why the people hated him. He just kept on telling them to give them a chance. They will understand. But Naruto was long past giving them a chance. His mother had arrived as well, when he had tried to break the seal completely. But it was his mind as she was just chakra. And he could see that the both of them would not let him destroy Konoha. So he turned against them. And just like that, he was able to break the seal. He had long since joined Team 7 by then. That is when he realized that he needed to leave. And he found his perfect opportunity when Sasuke left the village. And for 3+ years, Naruto pushed himself to the limit. He was already ridiculously strong, because he was always holding back, never showing what he was truly capable of. So when he came back, he was a monster. Things escalated from there, with Naruto facing off against the Akatsuki, Sasuke, killing his brother, and Naruto finding him, and sending his head back to Konoha. Sakura had cried, as she wouldn't believe that Naruto would do something like that, but he had sent a message with the head. After all, it was one of his clones. He told him that he will be coming for Konoha soon. Jiraiya had went out to find him and stop him, as Navi gave the order to capture or kill if not unable to capture, because Naruto was too much of a flight risk. He made things worse by killing the Fire Daimyo and slaughtering all the family, as Naruto had blew the entire place's smithereens, destroying funding for Konoha. Things were bad for the village, as resources were gone. He then started to wreak havoc around the Elemental Nation. The next thing Jiraiya heard was that he wiped out the Hidden Rain, as it was some massive battle that took place there. A few survivors had made it out. Jiraiya had found out that Nagato was alive, but Naruto had faced off against him. And when they did see Naruto again, he had the Rinnegan. But it was different, it was red. Maybe it was the fluctuation of the Kyuubi's chakra that was freely coursing through his system, changing him from a man to a Bichu. As it had tainted his chakra so much, it started to expand his coils to a ridiculous degree, till the eyes started to change and gain some dots in it. Things went far as Naruto started to slaughter all type of shinobi: Stone, Konoha, Kumo, Kirin. A meeting was called of the 5 nations. He was then named a world-class threat. At first, Kakashi didn't know what happened, but Naruto had returned after months. The world had went through some changes. For one, all of the Jinchurikis were captured, not by the Akatsuki though, by Naruto and Katsumi, the woman that he was with. But the big changes happened when the world seemed like it was about to explode, as the place had been shaking non-stop. Strange things were happening to the world. A meeting was called between the 5 nations once again, as Naruto had showed up, and he was different. His hair had become white, a bit silvery white. He then went on to tell them that he had killed the mastermind behind the Akatsuki, Kakashi was shocked when he heard that it was Obito, as he couldn't believe it. Zetsu had been royally pissed off. Without Nagato Eyes or Obito, he couldn't do anything. Naruto had found him. Zetsu only had one option. Use Naruto, but he was the one that got played. He risked himself by coming to offer Naruto a deal. But Naruto didn't want such deal, as Naruto captured him and went through the creature's mind. As he was curious what he was, that is when Naruto found out about Kaguya. And just like that, there was a power that was sealed away that he could get. Him and Katsume went missing for a year, and there was no sighting of them at all. Until the world had shook violently one day, and there was sighting of him once again, but he had changed once again. His eyes had become these unique pure red eyes. And not to mention, he was wearing a shirt and there was black markings all over him, and the Megatama markings. As Naruto had finally break the seal, and he had absorbed Kaguya's power, and he became a god. He started to wreak havoc around the elemental nations, slaughtering. As him and Katsume had wreaked havoc everywhere. They dominated, they had fun, squashing anyone that opposed them. They had stepped foot in Konoha, Snazzy and the others. They had tried to fight him off, but he showed him no mercy. He first went for Sakura, as he had literally tore her throat open and pulled her tongue out of her face. He always hated her, she talked too much. He then went on to brutalize the others. He then went after Kumo, then Kira, then the stone, then the sand. It was chaos. And just like that, the world was turned into them versus the two of them. And now here he was. His life has been truly miserable, as Kakashi thought to himself, as he looked towards his former student. Kakashi reached and pulled out a kunai, as it was a 3-pronged kunai that he's been holding on for a long time now. It was one of Minato's. Do you expect me to feel some sort of sympathy, said Naruto, by showing me that? Kakashi shook his head. I know that you don't care about a damn thing, except that woman over there. Yeah, you're right about that, said Naruto, as he grabbed her by the waist. She did not protest, as he just kissed her right there, ignoring Kakashi for a moment. The both of them break apart. Let's get this over with, said Katsume, and have some real fun. Yeah, you're right about that, said Naruto. The ground shifted as Kakashi felt Naruto hand resting on his shoulder. Kakashi blinked as he saw that Naruto was standing right beside him. Well, Kakashi, it's been fun, but I thought that you should die now. After all, it's about time that I completely get rid of Team 7. I mean, I did kill Sakura, and everything linking me back to the past. Sasuke. Well, Snazzy, but she's not part of Team 7, but still. She was the one that trained Sakura, so you can put her in it if you want. Kakashi turned as he stabbed the 3-pronged kunai in Naruto's chest. As Naruto looked down. Really? He said. Figure I might try, said Kakashi. Yeah, I guess you're right, said Naruto. As Kakashi jumped away, he flashed through a series of hand signs as his hand started cracking with lightning as he moved. Shidori! He drove it right towards Naruto's chest, but Naruto slapped his hand away as Kakashi crashed into the ground. The moment his hand destroyed the ground, Naruto's feet slammed into his face, shattering his nose completely as blood exploded from his face outwards. His face was gouged in by nails on Naruto's feet as he collapsed on the ground, blood leaking from his face. As he looked up only for his face to be grabbed and his head was smashed into the ground. He started to see stars everywhere as he could feel himself losing consciousness. As Naruto placed a hand on his chest, before he just pushed his hand, Kakashi cried out in pain as Naruto pushed his hand straight through him, breaking to the ground. Kakashi looked down towards a hole in his chest. He then smiled as he activated the seal on his chest. Black kanji started to climb up Naruto's hand as he looked at them. What is this? He said, as he tried to move his hand but he could not. As Kakashi smiled at that. Got you, you son of a bitch, he said. Huh, trying to seal me away again, said Naruto. You should know by now, Kakashi. You can't seal me away. I thought you already tried this before and you failed. What a waste of... Naruto paused, as he did not understand. He tried to absorb the phone jutsu, but something was wrong. This was different. A year and a half, said Kakashi, as he spat up blood. What? Said Naruto. All of my ninjas. We spent a year and a half empowering the seal. It needed a lot of chakra. This is not a normal seal, he said, that smile that showed off his bloody teeth. It's a space-time seal, similar to your father's Harashin, but different in many other ways. An unescapable prison. There's no doors, nothing to use for you to get out, and now you're trapped. A year and a half we spent running for our life from you and empowering the seal. We had to stay away from Uzo for a year and a half, because we know if you had came here and you had found out, you would have killed us all right there and then. So we had a few others came here first and get the seal. Then we start a war hunt on the run. As you slaughter us, it only increased our drive to continue pushing our chakra inside the seal. Nights upon nights of chakra exhaustion, and this is what you get. As Naruto pulled his hand out of Kakashi, the seal started to spread across his arm and spread across his chest. Naruto-kun? The voice of Katsumi said, as Naruto started to flare his chakra. The ground started to crack underneath him as Kakashi was thrown away because of Naruto flaring his chakra. What's wrong? Said Katsumi. It won't come off, said Naruto. She moved in a flash as her hand was encased in red chakra as she sliced his arm clean off. As Naruto's large arm hit the ground, that thud, he looked towards Kakashi as he already felt his healing process kicking in. As Kakashi simply smiled. What's so funny? Said Naruto. As Naruto dropped to his knees as he gripped his chest. What's happening? Said Katsumi. It's inside, said Naruto, as he stabbed his claw hand into his chest, trying to tear the seal from inside of him, but black markings spread up on top of his markings, restraining his body. A massive seal and array appeared right underneath him and Katsumi. As he started screaming in pain, she snapped her eyes towards Kakashi. Stop this, she said. I'm afraid I can't do that. Once it started, it's already begun. And she moved forward, but she was hit. As she was staggered back by the barrier. Where the hell? The ceiling matrix on the ground had created a barrier around them, an invisible one that she couldn't see. She smashed her fist against it, but nothing was working. Rot for the rest of eternity, you monster, said Kakashi, as he coughed up more blood. Several individuals flanked his side instantly, as it was the supreme leaders. All of them were there to make sure the demon couple got sealed away. As Naruto kept on roaring to the heavens as the thing burned into his skin. A year and a half of nothing but constant chakra. Kakashi wasn't sure that the seal was created by the Uzumakis, because it seemed far older than the Uzumaki's time, but it was in their, well, library. But it was to itself. You either needed some kind of god with unlimited chakra, or thousands of people with a year and a half to empower the seal. As Kakashi read a text that he saw something regarding the Sage of Six Paths, but he wasn't sure. But it was working as he saw Naruto clawing at his chest with his one hand trying to break free, but nothing was working. The area under Naruto's feet started to crack as the world started to crack open, as there was a empty abyss down below. It was pure darkness. Empty darkness, not showing a sign of life inside. As Naruto looked down, as he tried to get to his feet but he could not. The damn thing was holding him down. As his eyes caught sight of Kakashi, the both of their eyes met as Kakashi was being held up by the remaining members. They were trying to heal him, but he was gonna die. The wound that he suffered was too great, but their healing powers are keeping him alive right now. As he had to see with his own eyes as Naruto finally get locked away forever, so that his remaining people could survive and live through this. As Kakashi simply smiled. Rot in hell, he said. Naruto gritted his teeth in frustration. If I'm going down, you're all coming with me, he said, as he looked towards his hand that was outside the barrier that had been severed by Katsumi. Katsumi leaped, as she held on to Naruto, trying to free him, but she was failing miserably as Naruto's hand outside turned into a ball of condensed black chakra. As Naruto smiled as him and Katsumi was pulled into the empty abyss, the ball shot straight up in the sky and vanished. What the hell did he do? Said the Raikage, finally thinking it was over, but what the hell was that? As everyone looked around preparing for him to return, but he did not. He's gone, said Kakashi. The medic that was trying to heal him released the medical ninjutsu. I'm sorry, but it's okay, said Kakashi. I've lived. A miserable life, but I've lived. He's gone now. Remember your words, A, said Kakashi. Humanity is not gone yet. And you can rebuild. Regroup and... What the hell? As everyone turned towards one of the ninjas that came out, as he was on a rocky dune, looking up in the sky, they all looked up. Kakashi's eyes widened when he saw the moon in the sky was blown to pieces. Kakashi couldn't believe what was going on, as he saw massive meteors falling down to the sky. As he instantly remembered Naruto shooting that black ball into the sky, he was gonna take all of them down with him. Kakashi felt his life fading away as the medic released him as he dropped back. As Kakashi watched, he heard Kurosaki and the others shouting, but their voices were slowly fading away. Despite taking him down, they still fail. Damn it, he thought. As the earth was bombarded with meteors, and without the moon to stabilize the earth, well, all human population was erased out of existence. The meteors decimated the place, wiping them all out. Even though they won, what they think they did, they all died in the end. So did they really lose? As for Naruto, the two godly beings were drifting through the endless void. Seals were really powerful. After all, they had the power to hold back a god like Kaguya Osusuke, and they restrained him. Katsumi was unconscious, as Naruto held on to her hand, as she was completely out. This place, wherever he was trying to force him to sleep. It was trying to push his mind into submission. He looked towards Katsumi. Naruto could still feel his power inside his body, but yet it was so weak. But he needed to get out of here. He had an idea. He stabbed his hand right into her chest. Even so, she did not wake up, as he siphoned all of her chakra inside his body, returning her back inside of him. The body that he created for her crumbled away into dust. This was a one-shot option. He didn't know if it worked. He used the chakra that he got from her, completely dominating and controlling her at the moment. As he used her to carve a seal on his inside, her chakra to be exact. Her mind was still stable but just shut down for the moment. As he was able to use her chakra to carve a seal on his insides, and it worked. As he forced his chakra into it as space-time seal, he didn't know where it would take him. He knew enough about seals to know carving a random space-time seal would either shred you to pieces or throw you into the depths of space. But right now, anything was better than here. As he used his chakra to ignite it, something happened. A strange anomaly as his chakra activated the seal. It was probably because of this strange wormhole that he was stuck into right now. As a massive gate opened up in front of him. Not a physical gate, but just a wall of something that resembled some kind of gate. A wave of energy came from that gate that turned his body into dust, completely erasing him. Doing something like this was new, and he messed up. But yet it did not kill him completely, because black and red chakra twirled together. It was him and Katsumi, as it flew through the gate before the gate closed. That gate led to something different, a different multiverse. The elemental nation. Unlike the other one, this one was normal. not destroyed. That gate that had sucked Naruto and Katsumi chakra inside opened up in the clouds, right above Konoha. Instantly, a wave of energy shot out as it crashed into the surrounding area. The entire village shook violently. People started to panic and scream as the earth cracked. Trees were decimated, buildings were destroyed by dangerous winds. Rain came down like a storm. Ninjas quickly leap and get who they can to safety. The gate instantly closed, but not before releasing that red and black chakra. The red and black chakra seemed to follow something similar, a link to their chakra. As it moved so fast, it flew right into a giant building. A young boy snapped his eyes open as he felt the shockwave. But the moment he did, he was hit right in the forehead with the red and black chakra as it seeped into his skin, forcing his mind into unconsciousness. The boy found himself in a strange place. He found himself in nothing but darkness. The boy seemed like just a kid. He had spiky, blonde hair. His face was clean, no marks, nothing at all. As he looked around confused what was going on. "Where am I?" he said, as he couldn't understand why he was here or what he was doing here to begin with. It was then that he saw a light down in the far corner, as he slowly made his way towards it. What is it? As he reached out, being a curious child. But before he could grab it, something grabbed his arm. As he looked towards his wrist, he then started to scream as whatever it was started to burn him. He screamed and screamed and screamed, but his body was ignited with black flames. The boy screamed until his very mind was fractured. As the dark space started to break apart, with his mind being destroyed from the inside. As he was erased out of this existence, his mind was burned away. The hand started to twist and writhe until another hand emerged. As someone dropped out of the light, the person collapsed on their face. As the person could barely move, it was Naruto. As Naruto was in pain, as he's never felt so weak before, someone collapsed on his back. As he looked to see that it was Katsumi, she was unconscious. As Naruto wasn't sure where he was, but he felt so goddamn tired and he couldn't keep himself awake for much longer. As he fell asleep, back outside, as everything had settled down, the door of the room opened up. As someone rushed inside, the person looked over the boy in the bed. As the person breathed a sigh of relief, seeing that he was okay, and that whatever happened hadn't woken him up. "Is he okay, Mom?" said a voice. As the woman that was beside the bed turned, "Don't worry, your brother is just fine," she said. As someone stood right at the door, the person breathed a sigh of relief. "I'm surprised that it hasn't wakened him." "Well, he was always a heavy sleeper," the woman said. "Let's just let him sleep for now. He seemed to be having a comfortable dream." As she saw a smile on her son's face, she leaned on and gave him a kiss on the forehead as she slowly left the room, taking the other person with her. The next morning, soft blue eyes slowly opened up as the person groaned in annoyance, wondering what the hell happened to him. As he pulled himself up, trying to walk, only for him to drop flat on his face, he cursed. As he slowly pushed himself up, feeling like he was closer to the ground than he should be. As the person walked, trying to clear his vision until he came upon a mirror, his eyes then readjust and focus to the mirror. "Who are you?" the person said. As he looked down toward the small child, "I asked you a damn question." He then realized that his hand moved and... wait. He slapped himself several times to make sure he was not dreaming or something like that, only to see that the reflection slapped himself as well. He rushed towards the mirror as he touched his face. "What the hell happened to me?" he said. As he looked himself over, here he was wearing a small orange shorts A white t-shirt. No muscles. He seemed to be around 10, 11 years old. He was a goddamn child. As Naruto was confused, the last thing he remembered was carving that seal on his insides. And then remember black flames. And he went off instincts and he didn't remember much. He sat down trying to wrap his mind around it. Somehow, he probably got sent to the past. But something was different. He didn't have his whisker marks, they were gone. But this was his face. His hair was a bit more fluffy though, instead of spiky. And his eyes were a different shade of blue. As he opened his mouth, there was no fangs. He removed his white shirt, there was no markings. And his eyes were goddamn blue. Where were his eyes? Something was really wrong here. How was he sent back into his body? The seal was supposed to warp him through space-time dimension and put him somewhere else, but not back to the goddamn past. This was unexpected. He looked around as he saw a chest in the corner. He moved over to it and opened it to see toys. He slammed the chest closed. As he moved towards the decks, he saw a photo. He picked up the photo and examined it. Holy shit, he said. There he was in the center. Beside him there was a girl with red hair, with a big goofy smile. He was also smiling as he had an arm around her. Above them was someone older. The person looked like him, like his brother of sorts. Same features, but his hair was a shade of blonde and crimson mixed together perfectly. And placed the hand on their shoulder was Kushina and Minato. Behind them was Jiraiya with a thumbs up. Just what in the hell was going on? As Naruto dropped the photo, as he did not understand, he looked towards his bed. He rushed towards the window and pushed it open. He was high up. Wherever he was in a rather big house. He wanted to see where the hell he was as he jumped through the window. As he landed on his feet. But something was wrong as a pain shot through his body. He dropped to his butt and cried out in pain, confused at his weakened state. He heard footsteps, as he couldn't help himself but cry out in pain. Someone rushed around the corner. As Naruto was shocked to see Kushina. The woman ran up to him. As he readied himself to fight, the last time he saw this woman, he had to fight her for his own mind. What happened? She said. As Naruto looked at her confused, forgetting his pain for a moment. She checked him over, looking over him entirely, fussing over him. As Naruto was confused, as he saw the look on her face, it was warm, caring, kind. Her hairstyle was different though. Her hair was not as long as it was supposed to be, it was shorter. Not to mention something was off. What happened? As someone else came out. A child. The one that he saw in the photograph. Mom, what is it? Is Naruto okay? So they did know who he was. He tried to pick himself up, but the pain in his legs would not let him, as Kushina picked him up in her arms. She kept on talking to him, but the pain was getting to him, and not to mention his mind was trying to wrap himself around this situation. As he looked at the woman that was carrying him, as she rushed him inside, she laid him down on the table as she started to examine his legs. He watched as she went through handstands, her hands started to go green. As Naruto felt the tendons in his legs started to feel a lot better. She was healing him. As he just kept on looking at the woman. Hey, what's with that look? Mom's helping you. She was his mother. Yes, she was, as he turned towards the girl. Who are you? The girl blinked in confusion. Whatever you did must have messed with your memory. Or are you just messing with me? If you are, I can beat the sense into you. Naruto's eyes narrowed dangerously. Try it, and let's see what happened to you. This is no time for fighting. The voice of Kushina snapped. Young man, I want to know what happened to you exactly. As she looked towards Naruto, she gave him a stare that tore him down a little bit. Why did this young body felt afraid, like he had to tell her what happened? I fell through the window, he lied. She looked towards him. Really? What were you doing, she asked. It was an accident, okay? Her eyes snapped. What's up with your tone, she asked. My tone? Idiot, apologize. Right now. The girl beside him said, I said, what's up with your tone? As her hair started to fly up in the air, she was getting angry. As he felt an instinct to run, she took a breath and calmed herself. You're lucky you're injured right now, and it seems that because you're in pain, you have lost your manners, something I won't tolerate. The girl beside him breathed a sigh of relief. As Naruto looked towards her, he stayed like that for a good few minutes before she finally finished up. Ah, goodness news, she said. I don't know how you fell through the window or what you were doing, but I bet it was something dumb. He wanted to shout at her, but he couldn't find it in him to do it. His body seemed afraid. Instincts, he didn't know why. As Naruto was so confused. Just what the hell was going on? She walked over to him and poked him in the forehead. Ow, said Naruto. Just because you're injured, that doesn't give you the right to speak to your mother anyway. Do you understand me, young man, she said. Yes, he said. It was some weird instinct telling him to go along with what she said. He had to learn how to stop this damn instinct. She smiled, a warm smile, before she enveloped him in a hug. Just don't do it again, she said. Her tone was so warm and caring. As she backed away with a smile, Naruto hopped off the table. His legs still felt weird. Kushina looked at him strangely. Usually, a fall like that wouldn't affect you, she said. As she looked him over. How are you feeling, she asked. He didn't want to shout at her again. He decided to just keep up the act. It's okay now, he said. You really fell through the window. What a dumbass, the girl said, as Naruto's eyes snapped towards her. Whoa, so scary, she said. What are you gonna do? Alright, that's enough, Kushina said. Are you sure that you're okay, she asked Naruto. Yes, I'm fine. Alright, she said. Don't overexert yourself. As she had this concerned look on her face, she was confused. A simple fall like that would not have hurt him. This was her son, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, and he was strong for his age. Can I go now, he said. Go? Where? For a walk, said Naruto. Don't leave the compound, she said. A lot happened last night. What? What happened? Well, figures he wouldn't know, seeing that he slept through it all. As Naruto glared at the girl beside him, she was really getting on his nerves. Yet he felt like he couldn't kill her. Not that he didn't want to, but he didn't feel strong enough to do it. What the hell happened to him, he had to find out. He calmed himself for now. What happened, he said. Well, a strange anomaly happened last night, son, she said. There was this massive hurricane, wind, breeze, tremors all over the village. There's a lot out there right now, and I don't want you to get caught up in it. So stay inside the compound for now, okay? Naruto nodded. I'll fix you guys some breakfast, she said, as she made her way off. Hey, you okay? As Naruto turned towards the girl, seeing that she looked a bit concerned. I'm fine. Why do you care? Despite you being a dumbass, you're still my brother. So this girl was his sister, yes. He's heard before, but he just couldn't understand. It was then that the black-haired woman walked past him. Good morning, Lady Mito and Lord Naruto. Good morning, Mito greeted back. As Naruto was confused. Did this woman just call him my lord? Wait, this girl's name was Mito. As Naruto looked at her. Hey, why are you staring at me? Who is that? Said Naruto. She stepped forward as she got close to him. Do you hit your head or something? That is Neri, one of our mates. One of our mates? Naruto thought to himself. Just what in the hell was going on? This was not his home, it seems. Not in the past, this was not how he grew up. as he did not understand where he was or what the hell was going on. For one thing though, he was not in his elemental nation. As he walked past her, "Hey, where are you going?" she asked, calling out to him. But he chose to ignore her as she followed after him, making sure that he was okay. As Naruto pushed open the giant doors, only to see a ferocious garden outside, a long walkway, and a massive gate straight down. As he never looked at the house, as he continued to walk and walk and walk, Mito following behind him. As Naruto stopped and looked back towards the mansion that they were in, as Naruto saw several people outside with red hair, as they were just walking around. They all smiled at him and Mito as Mito waved back to them. Were these people Uzumaki's? Naruto wondered, judging from their hair, and Kushina was a Uzumaki as well. As he looked around all confused, it was then that the same black-haired woman came up to them. "Lady Mito, your friend, Sakura Senju is here." As Naruto paused, "What did you just say?" As Naruto looked towards him, "Oh, Sakura Senju is here." "Sakura Senju?" said Naruto. But guys, the end subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, remember to stay tuned for the brand new episode of Anime King 2 and Anime King if you're new guys. I did have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, and Anime King. Remember I post what if every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for helping your support, and yeah. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be replying talking about all of you. But I'm off and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.